Welcome into the Players Club, presented by Pepsi. The Players Club is presented by Pepsi, the official soft drink of the Washington Commanders. And in part by Johnson Kendall Johnson, the official insurance broker and risk management partner of the Washington Commanders, where our passion is your protection. Now for your hosts, Santana Moss and Sean Springs.
Welcome back to Players Club, presented by Pepsi. I have my usual suspect with me, Bluefoot.
Hey, what's going on, brother?
I'm your boy, 8 to the 9, Santana. I ain't want to forget that, but you know who I am.
Mm-hmm.
And I got my guy over here, man, the mouth of the South, filling in for my homeboy, our partner in crime.
Call me Philly and Frank.
London Fletcher.
Mm-hmm.
Fellas, you know what? Before we get started,
Yeah, man.
do y'all remember the first time we met each other? I remember the first time I met this joke.
I remember the first time we met clearly. I remember the first time I met this guy clearly. Like, listen to, here you go. Imagine it's the off season, right? And I don't go home in off season. I just kicked it around here.
Stay tuned at home.
So I'm in the locker room, and they trying to bring the free agents up, and some they gonna sign, some they not. Sean was the first one they brought
signed
in.
me as a first free agent. Let's make it clear.
I think he had just signed his contract, so he feeling good and put a couple mil in his pocket. He walks into the locker room while I'm sitting in there. And he's like, Smoot.
I was looking for you, buddy.
And he walks up to me and says, it's nice for you to meet me. I'm like, what? He like, yeah, we're going to be playing corner together. I'm Sean Springs. I like, yeah, I know Sean Springs.
I'm going to treat you right,
Nice
buddy.
for you to meet me,
Yeah, and then he says, you're going to be a hell of a Robin to my Batman. I was like, this dude is crazy.
Yeah, man.
He's such a diva.
I just felt it was important because, Smoot was an outstanding player, but he always got outshadowed by Prime and Champ and those guys. And I wanted to let him know that, I'm going to bring him up. I'm going to raise him right. As my sidekick. Here's the crazy thing about Tanner, man. I remember, for some reason, Tanner was like one of the, him and LC was in the trade.
Yeah.
And I knew I was a fan of Tanner from Miami, returning kicks, track, and all that. Tanner was the only dude I know on the team that was like a big time receiver free agent. You didn't even never know he was in the building. I was like, man, did we sign this dude?
Because he quiet.
I was like, where is he at? You never see him nowhere. Where
In
is
and
he
out,
at?
baby.
He gets his little book bag. He'd be like, man, this is the only guy. And I'd be like, hey, man, Tanner, what's up, brother? Hey, man,
And keep it moving.
Keep it moving.
Yeah. And look, to this day, have I changed? I'm going to come to work and work.
Yeah.
And then I got to go home. I mean, I used to sit around here, don't get me wrong. I knew Fred back when we was in college.
We met in college.
Play ball American.
Okay.
I told you, I came home, I thought Fred was a star among stars. Before I watched him play a lick of football, I just knew. I said, that dude, he can talk.
Right.
So if he ever put a mic in front of him, hey.
That's all he can do.
And then I started watching his game our senior year, and I was like, oh, that boy, he talking, but he walking. He out there, you know how Fred is, especially when he's in the zone.
Yeah.
So
Mississippi State
Fred was one of
out.
those guys that I was like enamored by as a I guess you say collegiate. You know what I mean? We was in college. I was like, that dude really impressed me.
Yeah.
It's hard to say somebody on your level impresses you. He did that.
Yeah,
so when I got to to the league, I wasn't looking forward to seeing him again because he done talked them up. But Shu, on the other hand, I was a big Ohio State fan growing up. People don't know that.
Yeah, you told me that.
So I was also a big Florida State, Miami, Florida. I liked all the guys in our, in all the teams in our state or whatever. But I looked at Joey all the time. Yeah. So you was on the team. And I remember seeing you later when Joey was. I'm like, man, this Sean Springs. They talk about who his dad was, who he was, and then fast forward, you played in Seattle with Brian Blades,
and
Benny Blades. So watching them guys, being a big fan of those, I'm like, hey, Sean Springs again. So fast forward coming here, it was like, okay, now I'm finna play with Sean Springs, but I got to practice against him. Yeah. And the first day I wanted to see like who he was and how he was. He respected everything. He wasn't a guy that talked a lot, but he would tell you what he's doing. Yeah. What he saw in your route, like immediately.
Right. No, he'll study. That's one thing he'll do.
That's
He'll
what I
study.
learned instantly. I'm like, this dude here telling me my whole technique, this and that, whatever it may
I got to know how to stop you, man. Can't stop the
It's them
receivers.
left-handers. That's what he do. Like, I caught him in the meeting room, left-handed, they right under themselves. I'm like, what is he over there writing?
It's called Ohio State education, son.
Wait, Ohio State education is not a good education, by the way.
Yeah, man.
Congratulations, it didn't get you far.
Well, fellas, man, we got a lot to talk about today, man. I ain't mean to cut you off. No. But before we get started with our show, let's go back to week 2, man. We don't like to dwell, but at the same time, man, we got a W out of that week. Yeah. And we also have a segment where we call Dubs of the Week. Yeah. It could be any player, any coach, any moment, whatever it is. Let's talk about what's your dub of the week for week 2, man. Even though we got to win, so we got to win already. Right.
My dub of the week, Benjamin St. Juice.
Oh, wow.
I'm going with one player that got a challenge. I'm sure the coaches challenged him. I'm sure they said, come on, you follow Malik Neighbors, that's challenge you. And Malik Neighbors got 18 chances to burn this guy. Yeah. 18 targets. Tanner, have you ever had 18 targets in one game? Never. 18. He caught 10 of them. Yes, he did. But He had 4 passes. I think he batted down. He was tops in the league with PBUs. Yep. He forced a fumble. Yep. That's called making plays. Yep. Like, cause the one thing about a boxing match is you gonna get hit.
Yeah. Was you interested to see how he would bounce back after the Tampa week?
I wanted to see because I felt like I felt like Mike Evans was the perfect matchup for him, especially size wise. But playing that little, because tall DBs, we have a problem with shorter receivers. Yep. We lose vision of them, and I was like, I don't know how this matchup with Malik Neighbors gonna go because of body type. Right. Yeah. For him to answer that question and to get us over that giant hump we've been trying to get through, W of the week.
I agree. He was great. For me, the dub got to go to the run game, man. B-Rob, man, he was. And we had him on the show week 1, and B-Rob, I've been impressed with the kid since he came on the show. I've always impressed with him and getting to know his personality, but he talked about, Tenny, remember he said, you're going to see something special. Yeah. And this last game against the Giants, because we talked about Dexter Lawrence, we talked about the Giants being able to stop the front.
All of them.
And, the offense itself had 210 yards rushing, I believe, on the Giants. Yep. But Brian Robinson was a stud.
No, he was. Yeah.
He was a big-time player, so he was my dub of the week.
He was leaving people in his wake. Yeah. Like when he ran the ball, I saw players walk off the field. Yeah. That's telling me he's inflicting pain.
So my dub of the week going to go to the special teams as a whole. Yeah. Okay. It's easy to sit there and say, man, you saw a guy we just brought in a week ago, that Monday rather, and Austin Seibert and go out there and he broke a record. He broke a Washington football team record, Washington Commanders record of 7 field goals in a row. Yeah. But not only did he impress me, it was that kickoff. Yeah. The first kickoff in Northwest Stadium. Fred said it best, so I had to repeat it. Yeah. The first kickoff return in Northwest Stadium, my man Austin Eckler went out there and housed that thing. Yeah. Not only did they call it back, they lost their kicker.
They go to cause and effect right there. They go to cause that change the game.
You don't know how beneficial that was to us as a team in a whole. That was great. Not only did they lose him and he couldn't go out there and perform, but he was a guy that played here once. Yeah. And you know how guys feel when they come back home. Yeah. They try to show.
I want to show you what you're missing.
And we say, not so fast. Yeah. Not so fast, guy. But that was my dub of the week, man.
B. Mitchell out there a little bit. B. Mitchell out there.
That's what the kickoff return is right now. You got to have a third down back that can break 1 or 2 tackles and make it happen. Speaking of special teams, shout out the snap Tress Way holding those balls. He don't get that because he didn't do no punting. He did not punt one time. Tress Way has yet to punt at Northwest Stadium. But he was holding. He was holding. Right. And the last guy to do that was Hopkins was the last guy. I think he kicked 6 field goals. And before him was Chip Lowmiller. He kicked 5 and he kicked 5 from 50 yards plus. So
that was good. All right, switching gears.
Yeah, that's switching.
Going down memory lane. This segment, Smoot, is called Drive Time.
Presented by Eastern Automotive Group. Any car, any way, for everyone since 1988.
The question is around primetime memories. Yeah. Right? Yeah. And I know you was waiting on this segment. You said, yep. But what was your favorite primetime game you played in? What was your favorite primetime game you played in?
It's hard because, especially when I first got here, we were still getting a ton of them. Yeah. We were still getting a ton of primetime games. But me and you had a memorable one. against the Chicago Bears. Do you not remember that game?
That was good. We needed that win.
No, we had to have that win. Right. We had to have that win to go to the playoffs. The game started kind of quick. Bernard Berrian got behind us to start the game. But after that, of course, you had 2 interceptions. Yep. I think I had like 7 tackles and 3 pass breakups. And the reason that this game right here sticks out, because I get to rub it in with you. I get to really rub it in with you because you remember I got that full body cramp in the third quarter.
Right.
So I go to the locker room.
We needed that game too. So we needed you back.
They put the IVs in. So I'm sitting in IVs and the doctor like, we can't let you back in the game. So I tell her, go get some, go get the stuff in the back for me. When they come back, I done ripped them out. I done came back on the field. And
crowd went smooth.
Yeah, it felt like Rocky. It was a Rocky moment.
He soaked it up.
He left it.
And
ran straight on the field.
Yeah.
He didn't even go to the side.
He ran
straight to the field. Told the dude, get out. I didn't get him out.
I told Johnny Eubanks, go back to the sideline where you belong. And he just started playing. So then I get in there at the end of the game. I knock the ball down, fourth quarter. Game sealed. And I'm like, you know what, Sean? Bluefoot done had a game. Yeah. Like, so when we in there waiting on Coach Gibbs to say who the player of the guy, like, oh yeah, it's Sean all day. And Gibbs is my guy. He like me a lot more. And he like, nah, we gonna give it to Fred.
Knock it off, man. Come on,
man. He was something. The next day when we got in, he was like, I can't believe. I just had 2 interceptions. I won this game. Not you.
Yeah. All right, Tanner, what you got?
Man, Primetime.
Don't give them what they want. Don't give them low hanging fruit. Don't you do it, Tanner.
He has to do it.
He cannot do it.
Elephant in the room.
Well, no, it don't have to be an elephant in the room. Walk him out the room.
But that's just one of them.
But that's the big one, man.
All right, so I'm going to talk about that. Because Sean want that one. So I'm going to go with the Monday Night Miracle.
Yeah.
Sean won the Monday Night Miracle. Fred didn't.
Come on, man. That was
he made so many more plays, man.
But that was big.
So I'll tell you about the Monday Night Miracle. The Monday Night Miracle, the reason why it's special to the fans, and it wasn't as special to me, I'm going to give you full context.
You were pissed on the sideline.
I was 38. I was 38 the whole game.
You were pissed.
Yeah, 38 special.
Yeah.
To be exact, the whole game. No, but the reason why it's special to the fans because, being a player that had a 14-year career and had plenty of those moments of winning games. I won a lot of games in my career.
Yeah.
When I asked the fans, like, why is so special to you
them plays
in that game? And they was like, Tanner, I'm a lifetime, Washington fan, and in the 80s, in the 90s, late 80s, early 90s, we had Super Bowls.
Yeah.
Yep.
Your era, we had Monday Night Miracle.
Yeah.
So I'm like, say less.
All right, I got
you. See what I'm saying? Say less. So now I'm embrace it because you guys are not gonna let me, never forget it. And I appreciate it more because that was my second.
It was perfect timing. Perfect timing
because 1, my first year here. 2, it's my second game of the season. We had just beat Chicago barely. We didn't even score a touchdown. We had 2 field goals in that win. Yep. And that night, that was the first time our organization under Dan had beat the Cowboys in Dallas.
Yeah. Right.
So for you to say perfect timing for a guy you just spent big money on, and for me to say, that was my welcome to DC moment.
I have arrived to Washington.
89 is here. You know what I mean? So it's big. It's big in that sense. What I will also mention about it just the whole build up to the moment, like build up to those plays, like. You have your best games. You know how coach tell us to play to the whistle blow, to the clock say 0? Yeah. That's been my career because at moments I'm going through what Terry's going through now. Like don't get the attempts. You might be getting, unfavorable matchups or coverages that it's not allowing you to get off. Right. And then when that team says, all right, it's over, I'm still 38, so they're going to throw me the ball because they know I want to do something. Yeah. And that's how that game ended. It was basically coaches seeing that I still was hungry. I was mad we didn't throw the ball. And they say, hey, we're going to come to you then. We still got some more minutes.
Let me give him one. All right, let me remind him of some more plays that were made.
Okay, let me ask you this question first because it might answer this question.
That's fine.
Do you think, as a player, primetime games mean more to us?
Yeah, because them the games that make you household names. Them the games that your fan base, all 32 fan bases is watching those games. Right. You become part of their life too when you make plays in those games. They remember where they was. If they was at a sports bar, they remember where they was when you made those plays. So I just think as the only show in town that night, it's bigger than just a regular game.
I say this, they means a lot to what we doing as our profession. They mean a lot to who you are, who are you perceived to be.
Yeah.
Or like, so now like, okay, we can put a face with that, what they say about him. But as a player, I wouldn't say it means a lot to me to be.
Because I'm going to play every game.
I'm playing every game like it's prime time.
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
When I think about that, Smoot, you brought up like to the fan base. That's the first time your peers in the whole league. So we all watch Monday Night.
We're watching each other.
So we watching each other. For me, I think it's one of those things where I know we could put people on notice.
I know. I've seen your eyes light up.
You
the
know,
week of a primetime game. Like,
but I love primetime.
No. You love them, and that's why I say. Speaking of primetime games, I remember when we had to beat Minnesota.
Yep, that was a great.
My first year back to go back. And Tanner was making those plays to me.
I forgot about that game.
Those plays to me meant more because it was more on the line. Right. Like if we don't win this game, we ain't going to the playoff. All right, and they are in the same boat. Like both of us need this game to go to the playoff. So when Santana burnt them down the sideline, like that play to me is prime time player making prime time plays in the prime time.
Let me ask you something. Because the next topic is about swapping jerseys. You went back to Minnesota. I believe you swapped a jersey.
Did I swap jerseys?
I believe you swapped a jersey.
I don't think Fred.
You didn't swap no jersey? Did you? Wait, there's a question.
No, because I had already been on teammates with them that we already had swapped jerseys.
Have you ever swapped a jersey on primetime, man?
I don't think I ever swapped a jersey. We didn't do that a lot when we played. Like if we wanted each other jerseys, we did it off the field. Right. Like we would hit each other up, man. I need to send like prime time.
But you know everybody doing it now. Like that's the thing
like that's the thing now is to, show that you played against or with somebody. And I understand it. Like the only jersey that I probably got from somebody was I got a Dion jersey. I got primetime jersey when I got here.
For me, going back.
Yeah, tell me about your primetime.
So for me, going back to the primetime, and Smoot will remember this. This was my first year in Washington, and Coach Gibbs was coaching. It was the first game of the season was Monday Night Football game. The Washington Redskins versus Joe Gibbs versus Coach Parcells and the Dallas Cowboys. Now, and I
the first game.
Oh, hey, listen. Now I played in some games, some big games in college. Never played in the Super Bowl. But from what I was told, and Smoot to tell you, like that week was crazy.
It was intense. It was intense.
But Tanner, I am telling you, running out of the tunnel, it was cameras everywhere, and it was on the sideline. So that was one of those things. And Smoot, you probably played this. Some big games, but you remember, like
no,
it was
because
crazy.
it was the return of Coach Gibbs.
And Parcells.
Yeah. So it was bigger than football.
When I tell you it was like bigger than football, it was just like. I think the commissioner of the league was everybody was there at that game. So that's my moment, and that's when I knew that the Dallas Cowboys and Washington were Commanders today. Rivalry that I grew up with.
It was still strong.
It was still strong regardless. So while we're still on drive time, this week. Bengals.
Cincinnati Bengals.
We've all played them. Tanner, you and I both played in the AFC, so we probably played them a little more than Fred. Fred, give me a memory, man, because you know your boy up there. There's another mouth. That
Chad.
Everybody.
Chad Johnson.
I wasn't gonna say it, but you know there's another mouth.
That's my dude. Like, listen to me, and I never forget that game that I had to go up there because Chad had this list. DBs.
Were you on the list?
No, because he'll take whoever he felt like he was going to be matched up with him, and he would like scratch him off his list. And he had played the Jets before he played us. And Revis, he didn't scratch his name off because Revis locked him down. Right? So before the game, we out there talking. I was like, well, why you ain't put no check beside Revis' name? He was like, well, it didn't go well for me last week. So before the game, me, him, TJ Husemanzada, all us out there, and that's where they got that clip from.
Oh, y'all in the same class? Everybody came in?
Me, Chad, all us in the same class.
Okay.
And for fast as Santana is, the quickest feet I have ever seen in my life. Chad Johnson's feet are ridiculous, man. I'm talking about typewriter. So that's to the point where when I checked him, I never looked down with him. I ain't looking at your feet.
Nah, you're losing the phone.
I'm not doing that. I'm playing him chest up. And we get in the game, and we going back and forth, me and him. I think I break up the first two. They send him in motion. They run a play action.
What year we talking about?
We talking about 05. I'm with the Vikings at this time.
Okay.
I'm at the Vikings at this time. And they get him across the line, and he literally goes 80 on the other side. After he catches a touchdown, so of course he coming to look for me.
Like it was on you.
Yeah. I'm like, what are you doing? It wasn't on me. It count against you. I'm striking your name off the list. So I like, you know what? This is my memory of the Bengals. Get me out of here. Because we were playing in Cincinnati at that time.
Yeah, I think my most fondest memory of the Bengals playing them, it was in Cincinnati. It was crazy, too, because at the moment, and I believe this is either 08 or 09. One of those years.
I think it was 08.
I think it was 08, yeah, because that was the year I had another 1,000 that particular year. But I remember Under Armour was trying to sign me, and they sent me a cleat. Like they hadn't even.
Hold on, it was 09 because D Hall was on the team.
Okay, D Hall was on the team. Okay,
Dirty Harry.
So Under Armour was trying to sign me, and they was like, "Hey, we're gonna send you a cleat. It hasn't been worn yet, but it has you all's colors. We'd like for you to wear it. Would you wear it? And if everything goes well, we assign you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We'll make it official. We assign you." So I'm like, this is odd because I'm like, you know me, I'm very routine.
You don't like change.
I don't like change, but at the time, the little sticker on that ticket was a pretty hefty one. So I'm like, you know what? Let me go ahead and just do something.
Let me put these covers
outside the box. You know what I mean? And it's Under Armour, so I'm sitting there like, they ain't on for cleats, but let me go ahead and do it. Put these cleats on. I go out. I forgot who they had at that corner at the time. I know he wore number 32. He was pretty decent at the time, real good. Everybody knew him. He was a young,
the boy Hall that one time.
He was a younger dude.
Right,
he was a younger dude than me. But so I scored early on him in the red zone.
So you got the cleats on right
now.
Got the
cleats on.
So you got
Jason,
how'd you decide you're gonna put the cleats on?
So I did it because I said, you know, normally I'm routine. Right. I'm superstitious. I don't change how I do things.
But the number they wrote on the paper was
the number they wrote on that paper. It was like, man, I can't let this money go to waste because I want to be stuck in my head.
Why you ain't pointing at the cleat?
I'm finna tell you.
All right.
I mean, it's a special. So I score. You know, I'm not a big celebration guy. But guess what I do after I score? I take my towel out of my side of my, you know how we had a little do-rag? I took my rag off, wiped my cleats off, and look and pointed down at them. Like, they straight?
Yeah.
And they threw so many flags at me. Under Armour called me after the game and said, "We paying for that fine, and we just signed. Hey, we gonna give you a bonus for what you just did." And that it was crazy because it all happened.
Wow.
And I wasn't trying to do it.
Yeah.
I'm just like, damn, I done scored these cleats on. It might be something. So it was just funny to me that I went outside my box a little bit.
Yeah, you had to.
But I had a good game and we won the game too. So
man, that's a sweet story. We played him in 04 here and here in FedEx.
Yeah, Carson Palmer.
And they had a running back, and I remember
Rudy Johnson.
Y'all
remember
and
Rudy.
Smoot.
I went to college the whole time.
So we get the game plan the week from Lou Riddick, give us a game plan, weekly game plan. And he's going down the rundown, like, oh, they got the receivers and stuff. And Smoot, you might have remembered this. And you was like, hey, man, listen. Rudy run hard. He was like, listen, hard. Rudy run hard. I don't know what scouting report Big Sweet Lou doing.
Yeah, but he forgetting that this dude is built like a deep freezer. And this dude comes downhill, okay?
Why he built like a deep freezer?
you know how you run into the running backs and they like the same size from the head to toe, like his calves was huge, his thighs was huge, and it make it hard for us to grab him, to get around it. I done tried to hit this deep freezer before in college. It didn't work.
Bro. So the first play, they run the counter. I threw Chad out the way, hit Rudy, bounced off him. Thank God it was Sean and everybody else.
I came right to you and said, I told you.
He came right to me. He said, I told you.
Man,
don't listen to that scout report.
Do not. They're going to run downhill with this boy.
He was something else.
He was something else. So that team was real good, man.
Yeah.
And I also,
that was the turnover. That was the change for Cincinnati. That's when people stopped looking at Cincinnati as the old Cincinnati Bengals at that time.
That Chad, Rudy, and
T.J. Hushmanzada.
And the quarterback.
Yep.
All right, fellas, I'm looking forward to this segment here. This is a new one. And since I got both of you guys, and both of you guys claim to be the Batmans of y'all Batman and Robin duo.
Yeah.
Well, we know the truth.
So he's more like Michael Keaton Batman, and I'm more like Bill.
You Bill?
Yeah, I'm the Black Knight. I'm the Dark Knight.
I'm more like Michael. He like Randy.
He Randy?
Yeah.
Well, look, we finna find out. I'm gonna put you to the test. I got a couple of questions I'm gonna ask you guys.
Yep.
to see who was the more Batman that night and who was Robin.
All right, I got you.
Bear with me here. Okay, first question. Who had the most Monday Night Football wins?
Between me and him?
Yeah. Can you guess?
Me.
That's probably because you might have played on more Monday nights.
No, because we got the wins we got together. But we also I got an extra Monday night win when I was a Viking. I came back here to Washington and ruined y'all night.
I would say Sean Springs.
Okay, well, survey says Sean. Sean got 4, Fred got 1.
God, he's a loser.
That was the one against you. Against y'all too.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Man, it would be us.
We talk so bad about that, too. We talk so bad about
next question. Who had more tackles on Monday night?
Oh, Smoot, he got the ball thrown at him more.
Actually, I hit tight ends and running backs more than you. So it's me, Tanner.
It's Smoot.
But he probably had more Monday night games, period, though.
Survey says Sean, 26 tackles. Boy,
you was the one. You was the one. Looking at them rearview mirrors.
You want to play in the early 90s, though, Sean. So I'm going to say mid-90s. Yeah, right, mid-90s. I don't want to make it too old. All right, next one.
My man Tanner do me like that.
My bad.
The truth hurts, man.
Who had more forced fumbles?
On Smoot.
I did.
He was strip king.
No, it was me.
That was Smoot.
All right, you right. Survey says 0 for Sean, 2 for Fred.
I was more ring-arounded this Sean. Yeah. I got in the mess. I got in the minutia.
Only thing I got was interceptions.
Oh, excuse me. Might have to ask that question. Okay, next question.
Yeah.
Who had more PDs?
Oh yeah, he did that. He broke up passes more. Yeah. I didn't break up passes. I caught him.
That's a good one.
No, you missed picks.
Fred got 6 and you got 5.
Okay,
he was right there. He was
right
there.
We close.
Pocket on that one.
Yeah.
Okay, last but not least, we finna see which one of you think so much of yourself.
Me.
Who had the most interceptions?
Oh, me.
You talking about in the career?
Monday night.
Oh, me for sure. I had more in one game than he probably had on Monday night.
I guess a pair of lips will tell a lie. A pair of lips will tell a lie.
I had more interceptions.
First of all, I picked out Brett Favre way more than you.
No, that's not true. That's true. That is not true.
So first of all, both of y'all talking about how many damn picks you had Monday night, and the minute you're talking about it, ain't as many as I see on this sheet. So both of y'all tied for 2.
That's not true.
I picked out Brett Favre.
We gonna have to get this. I know I picked out Brett Favre 5 times.
Was it on Monday Night Football?
No, it wasn't on Monday night.
We talking about Monday Night Football.
I picked him up twice on Monday night.
All right. When we come back, we'll talk about our primetime matchup on Monday night. All right, fellas, it's time to flip the script. Let's talk about this Monday night matchup against the Cincinnati Bengals.
Yes.
And what we do, we call this segment Set the Tone.
Yeah.
Brought to you by Johnson Kendall Johnson, the official insurance broker and risk management partner of the Washington Commanders, where our passion is your protection. So what I want to start off with first, the first question I want to ask, what do you guys want to see? You know, we're talking about setting the tone here.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What do you guys want to see in this Monday night game and this Monday night matchup that we saw in week 2 matchup against the Giants that it must be a duo, it must be brought back to this game for us to be successful?
Run, Forrest, run. All right, it's 3 things that the running game does. All right, it most definitely gonna take the crowd out the game. Yep. All right, it's also a defensive mechanism because it forces Joe Burrow to sit on the sideline and watch more game than he actually playing in. All right, it also protects Jaden Daniels being on the road, Monday night game. It's all about running. Think about it. They're starting D tackles both out the game. BJ Hill out the game. They out the game. Run it down their throat from the time we get in there. And don't just use it for an offensive thing. You're using it so we have 9, 10, 12 play drives.
And I think when you run the ball too, because Cincinnati is desperate. They don't want to go 0-3.
They 0-3. They can't go.
Now you're talking about imposing your will on those guys. Mm-hmm. For me, it's kind of Smoot, what you alluded to, what you wanted, where you gave St. Juice the W of the week. Yeah. First week we played Tampa, Mike Evans and Baker and those guys kind of went off on us. Yeah. Against the Giants, we came back 10-man. Mm-hmm. You know, we held them, and the secondary played much better. Yeah. Now, let's be honest, guys. Yeah. Cincinnati, that Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase. Yeah.
T. Higgins might be playing. They haven't said if he playing yet. Yeah. No, Boyd is not there anymore. Jermaine Burton.
Jermaine Burton?
Yep.
Yeah. Hey, so listen, you have to be locked in when you're playing an explosive offense like
at home.
At home.
Yeah.
They're desperate.
Yeah.
And if we don't keep them off the field because we're able to run the ball, you give that offense, and Tanner, you can probably allude to it more. You give that offense with those receivers and that quarterback opportunities.
Yeah.
The guys in the secondary got to be ready this week.
Get ready to see a lot of too high safety. All right, Zach Moss running that ball, he gonna have to show them that he can impose their will on our defense, because the first thing you don't want to do is let those wide receivers get behind you. So I'm looking for a lot of cover.
A lot of people play too high. They have success against all types of stuff.
That's why the quarterbacks are starting so slow in the NFL right now, because everybody's keeping everything in front of them, and they're making offenses say spoon feed yourself. All right.
With that being said, that's clearly what I want us to see. I want to see more of us being a lot more better when it comes to communicating in the back end. You know what I mean? The back end of our secondary. I think that's something that sitting around you guys for so long now and just hearing the conversations about how valuable that was to you guys' success as corners, just knowing each other, body language, being able to, give me signals. Like a couple of times, man, I swear when I'm watching football now, I can literally hear Fred talking about certain coverages when I see the different formations. And like especially now, you saw week 1, they brought that bunch. They brought guys in close. We had problems with it. What they do week 2, they bring, no, I'm saying, they bring it again. They score a touchdown, then we change it in the second half. So I want to see us get better at some of the things that a lot of these teams are going to test us with. You know what I mean? They're going to test us
until you stop
it. And we found a way to stop it late in the game against the Giants, but early, it was giving us a problem. They brought the guy in tight split. They was a man, they read man. Instead of him checking the guy and sending him, switching him over, say, hey, he come across. He stayed man, he stayed locked in. It was 3rd and long, they got a first down. So these are some of the things that I want to see this team continue to grow, progressively grow. And that will allow me to say, okay, I feel good about them going forward, because even if they don't get a win, you know what I mean? If I see growth, then
that's what this year is.
You know what I mean? It's all about growth. You know what I mean? I'm not big solely on just the win part of it right now. I want to see the growth. I want to see the competitive edge in these guys.
What you want to. I know that's what you want to see, but we want to see. The fans going to say.
I understand that, but we got to speak from our perspective, because you know and I know, having a new team, it's hard to go out there.
We're on a different clock than what the fans think we're on. Like we're trying to progress. This is ground zero, right, of a true rebuild. What I want to see is them to go on the road to play a legit playoff team at home with a legit, from what people say, 1B, the second best quarterback in the NFL.
But why do you want to see it? To see where we at? To compare? Because if you're saying this is a true growth year.
I want them to be exposed to the best. I want them to go against the best. I want them to understand.
Week 1 against Tampa was a serious playoff team.
No, they are legit. And right now, Tampa trying to get the respect that they feel like they deserve. Right? So at the end of the day, yes, we played against one team on the road, and it was a great measuring stick, but that was week 1. Now this is week 3. All right? Whatever mistakes we made in week 1 should be erased, and understand if they're going to beat us, they're going to beat us a mano a mano. They're going to beat us because we're missing calls.
What about our quarterback? You got a guy in Jaden Daniels, man. He's right now he's up there in the top. One of the top 4 quarterbacks that threw for 400 something yards, rushed for 100. He has yet to score
a passing
touchdown, but he's done a lot, man. Just from the standpoint of being special in moments where we've seen young quarterbacks crumble at. Let's talk about that. I don't think a lot of people giving him enough credit for that. We can sit here and talk about his running ability, how he know how to get out of danger, or does he do it too much, or should he do it not so much. But one of the things we fail to realize is, and I want to finish, I feel that as much as people want to see him pass the ball more, they don't understand how him just saving us in each down is so much valuable to our offense. We wouldn't have had those 7 opportunities to kick a field goal if he wasn't special.
Well, I think people understand. They want to see him pass more and run less, but that may be because of a little PTSD we have here in Washington.
Which is understood.
So that might be coming from little Robert.
Bobby 3 Sticks.
PTSD. But Tanner, you're right, man. Like this kid, what he's doing, and we're seeing it more now. CJ Stroud in Houston the year before. Now Daniels is looking like we got us a franchise player.
Yeah.
And that kid, man, is the moment didn't seem too big.
Never.
And people didn't, and he ran in Tampa because that's natural. First game, a little bit of a jitters.
Yes.
He didn't see his first read take off.
I'm gonna get out of trouble.
Get out of trouble. Second week, he improved.
It slowed down for him.
It slowed down. You know, the third game is going to be interesting because we all know as a rookie,
Third time's a charm.
and you're going against Joe Burrows.
Yeah.
So I mean, as
LSU.
What he need to understand, he ain't going against Joe Burrow. He's going against the Cincinnati defense.
But what happens though in a big moment
I
like
understand.
that, you start to read the clippings like they got Joe Burrow on this, and you feeling yourself. So that could play in the factor. Not saying I think the kid is grounded. I think the kid is amazing. I think he's humble. I think he's a hard worker. But let's not act like you don't think about that.
He got to think about it. We live in a fantasy world now, a fantasy football world where they want him to have 7 touchdowns. And no, I'm more. And you ask me which one makes me feel good. The 0 touchdowns or the 0 interceptions. It's the 0 interceptions. He's a rookie quarterback that's played 8 quarters of football and has never turned the ball over, keeping that ball dead clean.
Well, come on. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that then, because I hear you saying that, but some people been criticized in the past for not being aggressive enough. Like, you might have to throw the ball out there, give him a chance. You might throw a pick trying to make a play.
Cliff Kingsbury's doing a great job of spoon feeding him and keeping him out of his way. Look at Caleb Williams. Caleb gave up 5 sacks. Look at Bo Nix. Bo Nix done turned the ball over
2 different
5 teams. But one team with Peyton, he's putting everything on the plate and saying, going out there, rookie, get the job done. Cliff Kingsbury is saying, I'm going to make it to where you're going to get the ball out your hand because I got you rolling to the point where you cannot. So what we're doing is we're saying with our quarterback, progression.
We got to score.
Think about the thing about it. Think about that ball to Noah Brown the other day. He went through first receiver, second receiver, third, then hit Noah Brown. That's progression. That's what you want from a young quarterback. That's why I say him keeping that ball clean, he giving us a chance to win each and every game we've been in. All right? And come on, we just had a game in Northwest Stadium where we didn't punt the ball. The entire game, he went up and down the field. Yes, we won't see.
So you think that Jaden Daniels, at some point when you feel like we have to score some touchdowns, so you're saying right now, Fred, I heard your argument was he's not forcing it.
I don't want him to force it to our number one receiver.
I'm trying to get it out. He's not forcing it, and he ain't throwing no picks. Then I said, Tanner, he ain't forcing it, he ain't throwing no picks, but he ain't throwing no touchdowns to Terry.
But you also saw the other guys get acclimated. You saw Noah Brown show you that. Hold up now, y'all worry about Terry.
You saw Eckler.
We saw Eckler still. That's the second game.
Zach Ertz.
I say this, and you saw how he's passing the ball to the running backs. You saw what he's doing with the tight. The tight end has been our number one receiver so far. You saw what Noah showed up and showed everybody that this is why I can be a valuable number 2 over here. Going up against this matchup this week with this stingy, which have seemed to be stingy the last 2 weeks.
And the offense who can't score points on everybody.
This defense, brings a different kind of, I guess you can say,
flavor. Think about it. They got Hendricks coming out. They got 2 lively defensive ends. They got corners out there that can play strictly man to man. This is a defense.
Get the ball.
And then we got to understand we also going to be on the road. So when our offense is on the field, that's that crowd noise that they're going to try to take. And that's why I say I want to run the ball early and often to take that crowd out of that game. So I'm not really, like I say, the one thing I do not want Jaden Daniels to do is start forcing stuff because he feels like he's supposed to.
I brought that up for that reason.
That's why I was wondering, with that type of pressure.
You don't want to go into this game with that mindset. I got to
might feel like it though, right? You might feel like it.
To me, all I ever want from a quarterback is hit me when I'm open. Hit me when I get that one-on-one coverage.
I hear that, but
I understand what you're saying because you
Monday night.
But that's what I'm saying. You get caught up into
you can't get up into what day of the week it is.
You can't get caught up to the high. You can't get caught up to what the fans want.
We do. We just talked about prime time.
We don't. Me and Tanner don't.
Yes, you do.
No, we said
you just said.
We said we enjoyed them.
I'll put on a different hat.
And me and Tanner said we played every game the same.
No.
It's Wednesday. I ain't practicing.
You go in the phone booth. You go in the phone booth and come out with a cape on when you hear it's Monday night. But we get Clark Kent all the rest of the game.
What are you talking about?
You might not.
That's not true. That's not true.
It's too bright outside.
I went 4 years without missing a game. But anyway,
nobody's looking at us right now.
No. When your team is sorry, you're like 4-12. You got to think about it. But anyway. But I just wanted to say that because I wanted everybody out there to listen to the podcast, how easy it could be caught up. Like I'm going against Joe Burrow Monday night. I feel like I
want to show him up. We both Heisman Trophy.
We both, LSU, and that's why I was asking you. Have receiver pressure.
I get it. Yeah. Well, see, I've been one of those guys, been in those shoes, and I feel like when you're putting that pressure, that added pressure on you, that unwanted pressure on you, it's gonna drown out all the stuff that you really need to be thinking about. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's right.
So I always let the game flow to me, man. Look, I'm gonna be hot. I want the ball. But hopefully, these plays that we calling up this week is going to get
me. I appreciate Terry and I appreciate Santana because they the same dude. Yeah. There ain't no diva in them. Yeah. All right, now if you're talking about,
I seen Tanner being quiet, snapping on the sideline.
Yeah, I snapped when I had to. But
he's never been the diva that most receivers are, and him and Terry really do have that same approach to the game. I get it. I don't.
And I got one thing too to that point. We talked about the player. Does your play calling changing, knowing that you may have a Cincinnati offense?
Yeah, it does.
On the opposite side that can score points.
Yes, it does.
So what happens this week?
That's why I lead on the run game. I don't have room for error.
Against the D-line,
I know it's going to be loud. So
we got a run game against their D-line.
Yeah, because their D-line is hurt. Right. They playing their
tackles are hurt.
Yes, they playing their third screen tackles. Yeah. And if I want to slow down their defensive end from pass rushing, I run at them too. So at the end of the day, the best thing you can do is weaponize this run offense to protect your quarterback and also protect your defense.
With that being said, we know what we hear, but we trying to win games. We trying to establish a flow in his offense. Do you put more design runs in there for the young quarterback, knowing that he can do it? He seemed like he's been a guy that, because you watched in week 2, we didn't try to run him that much. Yeah, but a couple of times he gave the ball away when he could have been running. You know what I mean? So I'm looking at it like now you have to implement more that you saw late in that game when we needed to get that extra field goal to win the game. Yeah, he used it and he got on the sideline.
Well, Tanner, going into the game, you're receiving, you're the offense. To that point, Coach Kingsbury, he knows that Cincinnati scores points. Our defenses. So Tanner, as a receiver in the offense, and I know we're thinking about running the game. Do we ever think like, man, we might get into like a point where we got to get a little shootout or something?
Well, it ain't a shootout. All right, what's the run game? It's just not handing the ball off. A quick screen to me is a run game. A screen to Ashton Oculus.
Slip screens is also a run game.
It's a run game. Like, so at the end of the day, I can micromanage this game to the point where I am protected. Like, if I'm Coach Kingsbury right now, the one thing on my mind is I can't go on the road and turn the ball over, and I cannot put my quarterbacks in harm's way.
See what I'm gonna tell you guys, which we don't like to normally give this kind of stuff out, so I'm not gonna be bold with it. A lot of things you see week 1 and week 2 might be setups for something that we're going to do week 3.
Most definitely. This part of it.
So whatever I saw from them in the passing game, be mindful. Something could come behind it, come off it. Yep. So you get, you know what I mean, you get enamored with, they throwing these slip screens for nothing.
Yeah, but then you fake the screen.
Something coming out of that. Because they did it too many times. So you got to know it's a Hawaiian punch. That guy with the Hawaiian punch sitting there, hey, you want a Hawaiian punch? Sure.
Why not?
And the team going to bite, and they going to want that Hawaiian punch, and he going to give it to them because they knew better than to ask for that thing because something was going to come out of it. So that's why I look at it. I look at the game more on the chess side of it because if you just these generic old coordinators and just running the same plays, you're not trying to win. And I know these guys ain't generic. These guys have plans behind everything they do.
Yep.
You know, speaking of prime time and who we think that needs to be special and what we want to see in this game that we saw that was special in our week 2 performance. What do you feel about our defense front line? Like those guys got to Baker Mayfield.
Just couldn't get him on the ground.
6 times. Got him down once, missed 5 tackles. Then the next week, they don't have a good outing against
Daniel Jones.
And we know Daniel Jones has always been
I've been saying
Daniel
Jones just comes to Washington. He might well move here if he want his life to be good.
But now we got Joe Burrow, Joe Cool, the next to coming of a Joe Cool. And we know last time we saw Burrow, we took him out.
We did.
So not knowing what he got in his mind, it's a whole different team, whole different setup, a whole different scheme. How special our guys need to be up front, you know what I mean, to get him off his spot and get him a little rattled because I think if you let Joe have his way like Baker had his way, it might not look good.
You don't want that to happen. You want that D-line to cause disruption. Here go the thing about it. Here go the dilemma that our defensive coordinator is in. do I blitz him and leave my back end susceptible? Do I rush with 4? And so there go the dilemma. Put more in coverage, because then I'm gonna be forcing him to take what I give him.
So with that being said, though, we need to see our 2 guys in the inside be special this week.
Yes. It's like I want to see Louvu and Wagner run around this week, because if I'm gonna play those 2 high safeties, I'm gonna need them to by themselves stop the run. And Wagner did a good job of that last week, but I'm gonna need them to stop the run and force them. I want them in as many 3rd and longs as I can. So the question is, Blue, do I try to get out to him early and often on first down? At that time, do I blitz, or do I just play coverage the whole game and see what it's about?
And we talk about 2 guys on the inside. It comes down to the D tackles, Payne and Allen, those guys, right? So if I'm a coordinator, I'm Coach Witt. If my front can get there without
adding one to it,
adding one, a 6 or
a 5th man,
a 5th man, and the pressure, then guess what? I sit there and I just force them to run us out of that, right?
You want them to be patient.
Yeah, but what can happen is you give Joe Burrow time, even with 2 safety high. Smoot, you talked about 2 safety high. For the fans out there, is 2 safety high can deter a lot of deep balls, a lot of things.
Cover 2, cover 6.
4, you can double guys and different things. But if you give a guy like Joe Burrow,
he's a surgeon.
He would chop you up regardless.
So you got to mix it up.
So I think it all depends on how the guys up front start off and kick off the game. If we can start off the game and sit back, keep the ball in front of us and get pressure with our front.
Just hoping that their offensive line ain't, because these past 2 weeks, man,
the offensive line
especially last week, that offensive line, they was doubling up our guys in the inside. So, that made it hard for Payne and Allen to really have that kind of impact.
We got to have somebody on the end.
On the outside, got to get busy.
Right.
Yep. Yeah. Well, let's go to these fans' questions, All right. I asked people via X, a.k.a. Elon Musk's app. I asked them what do they want to know about the team and what's going on. So I got a couple of questions, but I'm just going to throw one out there right now. This comes from Ed Rob Moore. 397-21910. Shorten that name. He need to shorten Twitter name. That's what he need to do. I don't know. Tax number, this something. He said, so I noticed that we brought in Newton to play limited snaps, giving Allen and Payne. Giving them a break, and also they're being double teamed a lot. Would he get more snaps? And would he get a chance to play maybe some tackle and defensive end?
Yeah, I think he'll get more snap. You got to get healthy, right? So I think they were smart.
To give him small doses.
Give him small doses. He's probably on a play count. You don't want to, there's a certain amount of plays that, he's limited to a certain amount of plays when he can go out there. And you're right. Getting him into that mix, getting him into that rotation, especially when the big guys in the interior are getting double teamed and they're working hard, you need a little break. So that's a nice little rotation. And when Newton gets all the way healthy, it's going to be real nice.
People need to understand. They need to understand what we have in Newton. I watch him dominate the Big Ten. Mainly, I watched him against Ohio State. He gave him everything he could handle while he won Defensive Player of the Year in the Big Ten. This guy can disrupt. Now, I know he's starting out slow because he got an injury. And a lot of us that made it to the league and had a nagging injury where a year started out Santana. You know this firsthand.
Hey, I could tell you like it was, like it was yesterday. You got to crawl before you walk. I mean, that's a part of this game. You in the NFL. These are grown men. This is how they feed their kids. This ain't pee-wees. This ain't pee-wee league. You know what I'm saying? You in the league amongst men. So you got to get this man time. Once he get acclimated, man, everything will be all right, man.
Yeah, it will.
All right. Well, that's a wrap. We'll be back with our ice-cold player, Clelin Ferrell.
Here's the snap to Jones. In trouble now. Tries to get away from the defender and cannot. First sack of the day. That is Clelin Ferrell. Had one a week ago. Gets another one here. Back at around the 47-yard line.
This is your Ice Cold Player, brought to you by Pepsi, the official soft drink of the Washington Commanders. Welcome back to the Players Club. Ice Cold Player with my man, Clelin Ferrell, Virginia's finest.
I knew you was going to throw that in there.
I got to give a shout out to my guy from the VA, man. What's good, brother?
Ain't nothing. Happy to be here, man. Glad y'all having me on. I'm excited.
First of all, congratulations on, I think you got a second each of the first 2 games quick, right?
Yep, we started off smooth.
How did it feel to play in your first NFC East game when it came to the Giants in Washington?
Man, it was major. My whole family grew up loving this team, loving this area, loving these rivalries is what I consider them as. So it was major. I think for me, having my mama there was big time.
Yeah,
it was big time for sure.
For sure. So how many tickets did you have to buy? Because anytime we played home games, probably to where we from, we all had to buy a lot of tickets. How many?
That first home game, I had 32.
Oh yes,
I had 32. About 10 parking passes.
They hit them pockets a little bit.
Nah, they hit them for sure. Some of them came up off their money for them. But the family was fine. The family was fine.
Well, I'm sure that's something new to you, considering that you got drafted to Vegas and been on the West Coast, and all your family's on the East Coast. So I'm sure to feel that love from family was everything you could dream of.
It was major. It was definitely big for me, for sure, because my family was major, what was formerly known as a Redskin fan. So for me, it was a homecoming for sure.
Yeah, is that one of the reasons why we asked all the guys who's on the show, like coming back playing for Coach Quinn, but was that one of the reasons why you wanted to come back here?
100%. My parents was both in the military, but I hold them in the highest regards, and my father was the biggest Washington fan. I was a Baltimore fan growing up, but he used to, just a little insight. Like he used to tell me when I told him like Pops, like I think I want to play football. I'm little kid, he telling me like, you might could play for Washington one day. Look at the Lord. So it's just it's so crazy how it came full circle.
Yeah, that dream. Once that dream started happening, reality kicked in.
You ain't lying.
Yeah, most definitely. I gotta ask, how has it been so far playing for Coach Witt? Because we talked to him earlier.
You see a smile on his face.
We talked to him in the off season, and when I brought your name up, the first thing I heard out of his mouth was like, that dude. That dude. He the type of player that I want some more of those on this team. So how is it playing with him so far? It's only been 8 quarters, but how has it been so far?
Nah, with a solid one for real. I respect just the way he goes about his game. His kind of just his persona about the game. He's obviously a guy who believes in the D-line. He believes in the front. Yep. I feel like that's somewhere a lot of coordinators nowadays incorporate too much scheme as to really honing in on the skills. So Witt is really big on, guys developing as just players first. So that's the one thing I love, man, because you really feel like you're getting coached. Not so much told what to do. Some guy can tell you to go here, go there, but some guys, a guy like Witt is really big on his coaches, his position coaches, really coaching guys how to get better. So that's major.
That's real important, man. And you think about your room, man.
Yeah.
Allen, Payne, yourself, some of the guys that we've seen here before. Now you're new coming in. Then what was it like when you, as far as your decision making, like looking at who's in that room and what difference I can bring to the table?
Nah, and I feel like regardless of the fact, success is a correlation of things. It's not just one person's input. So for me, I knew obviously being in with this team with a guy like Dan Quinn, Coach Witt, and then you got guys like Payne, J.A., D.A., even Dante out there, it's major because I know it takes a collective just for all of us to have the success. And the NFL is a brotherhood, so for me playing with a group of guys who obviously feel like they got a lot to prove, man, it's major.
All right, so now you've been in the league, you was in Vegas, now you're here in Washington. What's next for your game, man? When you thought about coming to playing for Coach Witt and Coach Quinn, and you saying you're being coached, what was one of the things that you wanted to show this organization that you bring to the table and where you're going to take your game?
Man, I think for one thing that I feel like I wanted to bring, to this organization and really, to the guys in my position group was just my mentality. It's the aspect of I may not be. And we kind of had this saying in the room, you know what I mean? It's like it's not the aspect of whether you're first to the ball, last to the ball, but is your mindset getting to the ball? So for me, it's the aspect of, it's a won't be denied mentality. And I think also something that I bring is just the instilling of I mean, y'all know this, y'all play ball. Like, so much of what we do is if a guy just has the confidence or just the belief in himself.
Yes. Believe in yourself.
You know what I mean? So it's the aspect of, many people, a lot of guys on this team, new guys on this team, many of these guys have already been told what their ceiling is. And for someone like me, I tell guys all the time, man, like, I'm big on blowing this, take the ceiling off, and we're gonna see where we can really go. So it's the aspect of I really, especially around young men, we all come from different backgrounds. Like really instilling in somebody that, man, I believe in you, dog. Like you got this.
That changes everything. We seen Tua go from an average quarterback to a great quarterback.
It changes everything, and it's not lying to him. It's not overlooking mistakes, but it's the aspect of telling someone like it's okay to make a mistake because you're trying to get better, and I can see you. I can see the progression of where you're going. So I think that's one that I've really tried to pick up on, trying to be a leader now and a vet in the league.
Important.
For
when
sure.
I signed here in free agency, Fred was in his about 6th or 7th year.
Yeah.
I took him under my wing like
Please.
that. I was like,
I love it. Yes.
I was like, listen, man.
He was by far the most arrogant guy I had ever met.
He said, I'm coming home, baby. I'm gonna make you great, Fred. You know, so you can relate to that.
No, so true.
You know how free agency go, right? Everybody taking their trips.
Yeah.
Well, I'm in the locker room. I'm just working out. He just signs with us and I don't know it. He walks into the locker room.
Sean Springs.
Yeah, I'm Sean Springs. I'm like, yeah, I know. And he's like, hey, I can't wait till you to be my Robin. I'm like, so that's how you gonna start off our first conversation.
Put him under the wing, man.
But we've been tight ever since then. I gotta ask you this too, because we all got somebody that we model our game after.
Yeah.
For mine, it was Dion. I want to talk everything like him. Like I want to be him out the field, on the field. Was it anybody while you were growing up? You were like, I'm gonna model my game after this guy. On the field, out the field, both, it don't matter.
Man, it's definitely plenty of guys. If I was speaking on the field, man, there's a few guys in the league who I really, really respect. Like growing up in this area, I always watched Ryan. I always watched even probably a former teammate, y'all's Arakpo.
Brian.
Guys like Everson Griffin. Even some of the smaller than guys, I like to give credit. Some of the pass rushers, like a guy used to play in Baltimore and Cleveland. His name was Paul Kruger.
Oh, I know Kruger played for the Browns. Yeah.
One of my favorite celebrations, another DA who played for the Vikings was Brian Robinson. He was a guy who I really liked. But
you're a football guy for real.
I've been a football guy. Knowing both of y'all here, so that's a major thing. I think somebody off the field for sure was it's a number of different guys, but the way that I watch someone like and this guy isn't even out of the league, but me and this guy came in together. Max Crosby is someone who I just really respect just kind of the way that they go about their business.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like obviously making the change from him to sobriety and just seeing how he transgressed. We really good friends, so that was something that was major, just inspires me every day. Just to understand just how special this moment is. You know what I mean? Because we don't get this back.
Well, we appreciate you coming to the player stuff. We got a tradition here, man.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody come on the show, they got to sign the ball, man.
I got you.
You're going to see a big signature take up all the space. That's
John Allen. Yeah,
of course, Jay ain't want to take up all the space.
Yeah,
but
I got a spot, too, for sure.
Okay.
I got you.
Yeah, man. So while you sign the ball, that's good, man. And we look forward, man, to seeing you
continue growing on the field, man. Most definitely.
For sure. We love the energy, love what you bring to the game, man, and keep it up, brother.
Nah, I appreciate y'all for sure. We just doing everything we can to make y'all boys proud for sure.
Y'all doing that
for sure.